Hello there. And today we're finding out whether or not I'll be suggesting to you Star Wars Jedi Fallen Order. Now, is it Star Wars Jedi Fallen Order? Star Wars Jedi Fallen Order? Star Wars Jedi Fallen Order? I have no idea. I have done not like 8 but 9 or 10 takes now, and I get it wrong or right every single time, and I have no idea which one. Let me know down in the comments below. But yes, let's get to the video. Let's find out whether or not I'll be suggesting to you Star Wars Jedi Fallen Order. Got it. As a massive Star Wars fan, I've been craving a good story to sink my teeth into, and let's be honest, it's been a while. As a kid, I absolutely loved the Rogue Squadron series and played the not-so-fantastic movie titles and Super Bombard Racing, although I do have a nostalgic love for them all. Whoa! Did you see Jar Jar's eyes? However, 2 years ago, I headed into the Knights of the Old Republic series, and I'll be honest, it set the bar high. I'll be doing Star Wars a discredit if I fail to acknowledge the many fantastic games they've brought out in the past. But since Disney's acquisition and the cancellation of 1313, the future looked bleak. That was until this was announced. Star Wars Jedi Fallen Order is a Souls-like Metroidvania with a heavy emphasis on exploration, looting, and of course combat. Much like the Zelda series, you'll often find yourself returning to what used to be impossible to pass, that is until the game gives you another ability to add to your arsenal. Now, one thing I've always struggled with in a few Star Wars games is a combat system I can get behind, something that embodies the franchise but is also fun to play. And one thing I love in this is how everything connects. Parries, strikes, and the Force all feel like it has some meat to it, and my first reaction to some of the finisher or execution style moves will shock or enjoy all at the same time. However, something that may strike you is a variety of enemies, my favourite being the Purge Troopers. There are 4 variants, and they don't fall for my Force pull and saber through the chest, but oh my god, that is so brutal! Look at it! But this comes at a cost, and this was the animals you fought. I was not a fan, and some were just a nuisance, and others just served as a strange roadblock, and my god, that giant spider on Kashyyyk can die a horrible and painful death. Stop jumping on me, damn it! But in terms of all-round strange and annoying, and that damn slug goat. Sloat? Glog? Oh, it's Slig. Anyway, you suck, you and your damn slug movements, but somehow heavy-hitting ram horn attack. But besides this, I need to play on max difficulty, otherwise known as Jedi Grandmaster. But from playing on Jedi Master, I didn't find the game too hard. But remember, the meditation zones are like bonfires, and every time you rest, the enemies respawn, so you will never find yourself without someone to fight unless you manage to go through with enough HP and stims to keep you going, and stubbornly resisting rest so you can explore in peace. But speaking of difficulty, I'd actually like to bring up how they managed to convey the difficulty options, and I really wish games did this. Actually show me what it means to make myself suffer on the hardest difficulty, or how much I can just go through the story by showing the easiest. It's great, so game devs, can we do this more often please? To bring it back to combat, the skill tree looks great and there is a huge variety of what you can focus on. I achieved 100% of the game, so naturally I was actually left with extra points. Humble brag, I'm awesome, what? I achieved... but that gave me a massive amount of possibility, from the generic stronger force push and more HP to insane double saber, crowd control to throw all around you, killing all your enemies and forgetting the Jedi code even is, and... Oh, I mean, I'll do what I must. Right? Obi-Wan? Master?
I will do what I must.
Now for the bosses. Each one felt very unique in terms of their moveset and strengths, which was nice because although the core premise was there, parry, I mean, which version of your lightsaber you used, which abilities aided you the most varied, and you will find which style suits you best, but I found with certain enemies, my crowd control double saber worked very well against singular targets at the cost of how quick I could defend myself. I warn you, it is very easy to leave yourself exposed though. However, this is what you will figure out in every single fight, as you discover your style, watch yourself become a Jedi Master, easily dispatching your foes. But if you're not able to do this when you die, the game is very forgiving, and the saving against bosses is also forgiving. It is definitely designed for trial and error, which honestly made the attempts on the boss less of a chore, and more of a, hey, let's figure out the coolest, flashiest way to take this guy down. This game is all about exploration, so much so that every map will have an exploration percentage for you to just see how much of the planet you have been to. I found this both brilliant and not so much, and it seems to vary for some people, as when I streamed it, I had a few complaints about a particular planet. Zephyr! Oh, gotta get that checked out. Anyway, the planets you can explore: Bracca, which is a tutorial area, Bogano, Kashyyyk, Zepho, Dathomir, Ilum, and the final planet, which is more of an ending, so I shall let you discover that one on your own. What I will say is, if you have a need for completion and a love for Star Wars, this has you covered. However, I must emphasize that everything you collect is almost entirely cosmetic and has no real bearing on either the endgame or your power as Cal. And you will find yourself constantly looking at that map for that pesky 100%. But when it starts at 0, all I could think about was that one quote from Anakin.
This is where the fun begins.
Sometimes you could just easily explore everywhere, while other times it took some serious concentration and self-doubt as to where you've actually been. There are plenty of cosmetics to obtain in the chest, which will have ponchos, outfit materials, mantis paint decals, lightsaber parts, and he was probably the best boy and droid of all time, BD1. Seriously, I love him. Much like the Souls games, you'll also find yourself with stims, which BD1 will dispense for you like the good boy he is. The final collectibles are Force and Life essences. Think of them as the piece of hearts in the Star Wars world. And if you're a lore fan, Cal has an amazing ability to where he can hear Force echoes. This allows him on certain items, whether it is ancient or recent.
Mariana, take care of our Sienna.
And for me personally, I loved exploring two places. One is a crashed Venator ship on the planet Zepho, which will let you explore the ins and outs of a clone warship and hearing the painful events that was Order 66 and the tragic tales of a master and Padawan trying to escape. The final place I really enjoyed from a pure lore perspective was Dathomir, where characters such as Darth Maul, his brother Savage, Asajj Ventress, and the fabled Night Sisters. Don't get me wrong, this planet is gross. I couldn't help but look at everything and find out how their culture was and what happened to them, because something certainly happened here, and I'm going to find out! Jedi Fallen Order will have you playing as Cal Kestis, a Padawan who somehow survived Order 66. The game starts out and you're working as a scrapper on the planet Bracca, where you've been undercover since the event took place. After seeing the many droid dreadnoughts, clone venators, and many more ships, including a Jedi fighter which will give you that infamous clip, where you are then left with a moral dilemma. Do you let your friend fall to his death, or do you use the Force to save his life, with an almost guarantee of revealing yourself to the Empire by those damn spy droids watching you? After you get back from saving Prav, you will meet your Jedi Master for the first time, and through a Force vision, reminding you to only trust in the Force. And by the way, it is great to see another Lasat race character. You also see them in Rebels. However, I digress, I'm getting sidetracked. As you travel through, you'll find yourself being thrown back to when you're just a little Padawan in training. It's more of a tutorial or showcase to see your new abilities, but it also shows you that your connection to the Force is being healed. And this is where all the areas and all the planets will start to open up to you. After what is arguably my favourite prologue in any game... Oh, no! Oh! Oh my god! Oh my god! Go through the door! Oh my god! No way! That's so dope!
Jump now!
Oh!
Hold on!
It shows an epic start, and as always, we need reminding just how bad the Empire is. And I am constantly paranoid for characters I like that will get killed, and damn you, Fallen Order! Rest in peace, Prov! I'll remember you always. I miss you. You'll then find yourself being taken by your new crew, Seer and Grease, to a planet called Bogano, which is where your journey will truly begin. You're told to make your way over to what looks like an ancient structure, and while you're making your way over, you'll bump into what is the best droid companion in Star Wars history. I'm sorry, HK, T7, R2, BB8, but BD1 is in town and he is adorable. But you will learn that this droid was waiting for the right person to share the discoveries made by Jedi Master Eno Cordova. And as you traverse through the many planets in this game, he'll be sharing with you what he has learned. When you get to the ancient structure, it is revealed to you that if you can follow the ancient Zephylo civilizations, you will find the future of the Jedi, which is a holocron containing the names of all Force-sensitive children in the galaxy. The next generation of Jedi! Now, one thing I did love about the story in this game, although it is short, you can tackle it as fast or as slow as you like. I chose the slow option because I am mad for Star Wars and this journey. The setting, the words, everything just got to me. It's just filled with that typical Star Wars wonder and charm, which the soundtrack complements beautifully. Besides the obvious talents such as lightsabers and the Force, you just know this is Star Wars. Now that you know your mission, they will have you go through a decent amount of planets, and you'll meet some interesting characters along the way where you just have to know more. And by no means least, starting off with Cal's past, Grease, Seer, Eno Cordova, the Wanderer, and last but by no means least, my wife, the Night Sister Merrin. I'm just saying, hers, the Night Sisters, and Dothamir's lore is next level. However, before we go any further, let's enter the spoiler zone. If you haven't played the end of the story yet and don't want to know, please skip to the frame below. Now, let's dive in. Once you attempt to make your way through the final doors in Dothamir, you have a Force Echo which quickly leaves you. You meditate and all of a sudden you're taken back one last time as Padawan Kid Cal. And you will now see entirely how Order 66 affects him. There is a clear emphasis on their good relationship with the clones. They all talk, encourage, and even high-five him.
You got this, kid.
This only adds to the emotional heartbreak. One cool thing, however, to come out of this is seeing your master, Jaro Tapal, cut through everyone like they are nothing.
Move, Padawan. We have to leave now.
But as you're escaping, he is shot down, protecting you. You're then suddenly thrown back into the present, into a fight with a Force ghost of your master. You strike him down and he blames you for his death, causing you to destroy your own lightsaber out of sheer horror and just anger.
Apprentice. You are a failure, a weakling, a traitor. You are no Jedi! No!
And I tell you what, I went through a goddamn emotional roller coaster here. I was, not gonna lie, ninjas cutting onions somewhere because I was crying. Straight off the saber. Oh my god, that's painful. I'm going to say one of my favorite scenes was in Ilum. You get your lightsaber crystal and the whole thing just seems to matter so much. And he's been tested by the Force and made it through the other side. And then he splits his lightsaber into two. Oh, fuck! Shit! I literally went crazy with excitement. I do wish it was more of a permanent move though, or an option such as the single and double lightsaber, but hey, it's still good, I'll take what I can get. This is also where the game really ramps up. You fight some great boss battles, it almost feels like a season finale where everything is tied up into a neat little bow. You deal with a Jedi turned Sith. Great name. Otherwise known as the Wanderer. This is also one of the times where if you went to the Force Echoes on Dothamir, you'd actually get to see how he rises and falls and then, well, other way around, but you get my point. Followed by a fallen Padawan, you also see Seer completely lose it. A character who shut herself off from the Force just turns around and says, I cannot ignore this. Seer cut her way through the troopers with her Padawan Sith Saber. It's just empowering. Oh shit!
That was impressive. How you holding up?
And I tell you what, props to the most badass moment of the game. You defeat Trilla, and it looks like she may join you in the light. And then you hear that iconic breathing. No way! Oh shit!
That doesn't look good.
It isn't. It's him.
You have failed me, Inquisitor.
Avenge us!
It's freaking Vader! And he's cutting her down for her failure.
You would be wise to surrender.
Yeah.
And then they played off this fight perfectly. You attempt, and you can't see me, but I'm doing quote right now. You attempt to put up a fight, and you are so quickly brushed aside, to which you quickly realize I am way too weak for this, and you have to run. And it is terrifying. The sheer power he wields, and it's good to see the game flaunt it.
We gotta run! Look out!
After it all, though, you get away, you get rescued by my wife, Marin, and get away with the holocron. Thanks, wife.
I'm glad you're okay.
Cal decides, though, that if they will really, truly become Jedis, the Force will guide them, and they will not be found via this holocron. And then he destroys it. The story, quite arguably, comes to a very nice, well-rounded end. Would I love more? Yes, of course. Do I need it, however? No. And I love that. In short, Jedi Fallen Order is a fantastic addition to the Star Wars franchise, with its fun combat and Metroidvania-like exploration. However, I did have a couple frame rate issues, and with my PC that is a little concerning. But I think the biggest complaint from people was actually that the story was short, and it is not a long story. But for me personally, I was so enthralled on the journey that I actually got 100% first, and I ended up spending 28 hours. And I have a guaranteed second playthrough to come up soon, so I can play in Jedi Grandmaster mode. So I think, bearing all that into account and everything I said before, I could wholeheartedly, fully, extremely suggesting to you that you play Jedi Fallen Order. Yes! 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 My hand's hurting.